It is the height of summer and I am out gathering blackberries. These are so big and juicy this year, and the bushes are covered. There are simply too many to pick, so we're getting to share them with friends and neighbors. But despite this wild abundance all around me, there is another super abundant food source right beneath my feet. I'm sitting next to an ant mound. They might be difficult to see. In fact, a lot of people overlook them because sometimes they're overgrown with grass. But ants and their colonies are a common sight in ecosystems around the world. Now, we've known for a long time that other primates eat insects. Some of them use tools to collect the insects. But for the human primate, well, at least in some parts of the world, we can be pretty skittish about eating any kind of insect. Ants can be remarkably easy to gather. If we disturb their mound a little bit, they're going to come crawling out. Now, there's some lively debate about whether our ancestors ate a lot of insects. In the paleo circles, it's a lot more fashionable to eat, well, say, beef, which oddly wasn't even around during those times. But in any case, to think that our ancestors were out hunting megafauna and doing the cool thing and not just sitting around eating insects. But, granted, we can never go back in time, at least not yet with our current technology, to see how much of our ancestors' diet was composed of one thing or another. But it's worth keeping in mind that the hunters of the past, well, they didn't have those big, powerful rifles that a lot of paleo hunters use these days. They were using self-made bows, atlatls, spears. And hunting was, well, it took a lot of effort and was rather dangerous. There's also a lot of processing that goes on after a big animal is killed. Insects, on the other hand, in many parts of the world are very easy to gather, easy to prepare, and are there in great abundance. For modern folks today, if you're a prepper, if you're interested in ancestral skills, or you're just culinarily curious, it might be worth taking a look at insects in general. Now, note that many species of ants can be pretty aggressive and have very strong stings. Around here, we're a little bit luckier. These ants, you can see, they come to defend their home, but their bite is, well, not very impressive. It's lucky if they can get through my skin. These don't sting so much as just grab you with their mandible. Don't even have to cook these, but they can be added to all sorts of soups, stews, and dishes just to add not only a lot of protein and fat, but a really delicious lemon flavor. Now, in these mounds, if we dig down a little bit, we're also going to have a huge amount of grubs. These grubs, I'm not going to disturb their mound any further, but those grubs have been present every time I've looked down in there. And those grubs are a great source of fat and protein, have a much milder flavor, and can be gathered in abundance. They don't move around. Now, of course, for a bleeding heart like me, who posits consciousness in everything around us, there is a little difficulty in eating ants in that it takes a lot of lives lost in order to provide sustenance, any amount of sustenance for yourself. It's roughly equivalent to the situation we'd have if we were going to be, let's say, eating alfalfa sprouts, where we are engaging in a mass slaughter of many, many living organisms in order to sate our appetite and gain nutrition. Now, the murkiness of those ethics aside, it's really worth knowing about the insects in your area because it's a great emergency food source for you and your family. In the end, the thought of eating insects of any kind teaches us a lot about our cultural training, about our personal sense of curiosity, and, well, eating any foraged, hunted, gathered food can connect us more deeply with our environment. So even if you have no actual interest in eating insects, it's worth thinking about it a little bit, just as a mental exercise to learn more about yourself, your ideas, judgments, preferences, and ideas about your place in the world. For my family, these ants are just little companions that live out here in the field and an emergency food source should we ever need it. So consider learning a little bit more about the insects in your environment. How would you harvest them? How would you prepare them? And tell me, of course, in the comments if you've ever tried any wild insects in your diet. Thanks for watching, my friends. As always, so great to join you here, and I'll look forward to talking with you in the comments.